What's up with that bad boy tuck? I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hey friends, what's going on? How you doing? Are you okay? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. Genuinely do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. It is a Chelsea News. Of course, the currently twice daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts on it for whatever that's worth, and always, more importantly, asking for yours. Today we are reacting to an article about Moises Caicedo, Chelsea's record signing, shining in the Copa America for Ecuador. Of course, plays for them as well. Chelsea player currently, probably more to be. And yes, that's really, really interesting because the hype and the ceiling on Caicedo is immense. We also are going to react to some news about a couple of key and great figures at Chelsea leaving, which has left me feeling rather uncomfortable. So we're going to get into that as well. But thank you for joining me as always. I really do appreciate your support, your continued support. So thank you for offering that. I see the comments and stuff. You're welcome to subscribe. Hit the bell if you choose to. And thank you for liking the video and all that lovely stuff. It's kind of you. All right. So yes, this news is coming from Chelsea Youth. I'll show you the tweet now. Chelsea Youth is a Twitter account or X account that is well connected with the Chelsea Academy and offering news regarding the Chelsea Youth, funnily enough. And he writes this: Jim Fraser has already left Chelsea. Jim Fraser, working with the Academy, was Neil Bath's assistant, but apparently Neil Bath is set to follow amid radical changes to the Academy's management structure. The duo established a best-in-class operation with global renown and relentless success for more than 2 decades. Now, this is not hyperbole. Chelsea and Cobham are legendary to some degree due to these guys. Neil Bath, Fraser was his assistant for a long time. Neil Bath, as you can see there on the left, a bit of a genius, and gets, whenever these Cobham graduates, either make it at Chelsea or don't, or almost certainly always make it as professional footballers at a very high level, you see them often thanking and referencing Neil Bath. Now, it was only about a year ago that Chelsea had promoted Neil Bath from the academy to this more senior role in development. And it seemed like a good move because, again, he's a bit of a genius. And a lot of Chelsea's success when it comes to youth. And look, man, you need to understand that Chelsea Cobham, the Chelsea Academy, creates an immense amount of professional footballers that either play that play in the Football League, but high up in the Football League, loads of Championship players, loads of Premier League players, loads of, top Premier League players, off the bat, even players that don't play for Chelsea, like Declan Rice, Nketiah for Arsenal, Guehi for Crystal Palace, Elise, going for a lot of money to Bayern Munich. And then, of course, you've got your Conor Gallaghers, your Mason Mounts, your Ruben Loftus-Cheeks, your Fikayo Tomori's, your Lewis Hall, your Levi Colwills, your so many, Callum Hudson-Odoi's, Tammy Abrahams. The list literally goes on forever and ever, and I'm missing so many out. There's if you look up and down the Football League and in the Championship as well, so many Chelsea Academy graduates, so many superstars. I'm forgetting so many names now that I want to think of, but there's just it's endless, and you will recognise most of them. The Chelsea Academy is prolific in churning out elite level footballers, and you have to look at the consistent top of the table that's created there, and that's Neil Bath. So look, man, when the new owners came in and they were like, we need to clean the table from the previous regime, fine, I get it. You get rid of the board, you get rid of Bruce Buck, Tenenbaum, of course you get rid of Abramovich is gone, you have to get rid of Marina Granovskaya, like his main lieutenant, because of geopolitical reasons more than anything else. And also, when you come into a business, I get it. You want to restructure from the very top. It's pretty commonplace, right? I dig it. I understand that. But, you know, they were like, okay, we're going to keep a few things. We'll keep Thomas Tuchel because he's good and he's an asset, obviously. That apparently was untenable. Emma Hayes is an obvious one. She left of her own accord on a high, and she had been at Chelsea for a long time. Maybe that move was always going to happen. Maybe it helps. Maybe she would have stayed a bit longer under the previous regime. I don't know. But truth is, I think maybe she was always going to leave Chelsea at some point. But they want to keep Emma Hayes. And then, I mean, the obvious other than that was Neil Bath. Because Chelsea, like, you want, especially these new guys, they're like, right, you want to make money off the Chelsea academy, which, by the way, we've always done. This is not just a new regime thing, by the way. Look, I don't want to pretend or speculate like I know what's going on, but what I will say from the outside, the immediate visceral reaction is this is a massive blow. A massive blow. I don't know, of course, what Chelsea Youth hasn't given us much insight. He's explained a restructuring. What does that mean? He's getting canned because it would be seemingly ludicrous to fire a guy that's brought so much success to Chelsea. You know, we could speculate maybe Neil's not happy with stuff that's going on at Chelsea. Of course, it looks like we're leaning on international youth now rather than homegrown youth. I don't know if that's an issue. Again, it would be wrong for me to speculate and you know, unethical. But wow, this is a massive blow for Chelsea. Many of you guys might not know about this, and you might not be interested in, you know, academy football or whatever. But the truth is, there is a great deal of pride in, you know, even like Jamal Musiala. You know, these kids played at Chelsea. You know, Mbappe came for a trial at Chelsea, came to train with Chelsea. Like, you know, believe it or not, there's pictures. Anyway, look, whatever. It's a huge blow. It's a huge blow. We'll see how it affects us. We'll see how it affects Cobham and the development from homegrown players and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, we just want to see Chelsea play football again and win football matches. But I must say, from the off, the optics are not great. So let's try and cheer ourselves up with a different story. The Guardian, I'm referencing Ben McAleer, has written about Moises Caicedo. He's formed in the Copa America and why it's good news for Chelsea Football Club. And hey, that's us! So let's turn that frown upside down. The pressure was on Moises Caicedo to make an immediate impact following his big money move last summer. Chelsea were hell-bent on the signing of this midfielder and finally landed their man in August for a British record fee of £115 million. Given the constant uncertainty at the club, though, a seamless transition from Brighton to the Blues was always going to be easier said than done. Also, he didn't get a pre-season because he wasn't training with Brighton. He was trying to get his move. He arrived at Chelsea very late, so it was really like a stuttered start, you know, for him. To say Caicedo struggled in his opening months would be an understatement. As Christmas approached, Chelsea were in the bottom half of the table, and it looked as if they'd blown a fortune on Caicedo and his midfield partner Enzo Fernandez, who was slow to adapt to the Premier League after his £106 million move from Benfica. I think that's a little bit harsh on Enzo. I thought Enzo was actually quite consistent early doors for a decent period of time and actually dropped off later. And we've speculated that's due to his groin injury that he then had surgery on. Liverpool tried to sign Caicedo, offering £111 million to Brighton. Their fans were celebrating that he had turned them down. Jurgen Klopp also sounded relieved, saying, other central defensive midfielders didn't want to join Liverpool. My God, we were lucky. That's unprofessional from Klopp. Can I just say, Klopp often was a bit of a, excuse my French, dickhead. He behaved like an absolute... On the touchline, when he's screaming and that, you know, he screams and refs and forths official faces. He's done that since Dortmund. There's that really funny clip of him pulling his hamstring after just behaving like an absolute pen 15. He'd be really, you know, unpleasant to journalists asking genuine questions. And he comes out with stuff like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so unprofessional. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He's seemingly quite like a charismatic, good, caring guy. But he's just got the capacity to be an absolute child. And a butthole. Given Caicedo's age and obvious quality, patience was required. And as the season progressed, he began to improve, and so did the team. After a humbling 4-2 defeat at home against Wolves. Why are we reliving this pain? Chelsea went on a brilliant run, losing just one of their last 15 games. Hey, it was good, as they climbed from 11th to 6th in the Premier League table. Chelsea won their last 5 games of the campaign, enough them to earn a place in Europe for this upcoming season, of course. And, hold on, I need to sneeze. And we're back. And we are back. Where am I? And they decided to sack Pochettino, of course, at the end of their last campaign. And the dust had not even settled on the season before the Argentinian had been booted out and replaced by Enzo Maresca. By the way, we haven't seen any media from Maresca yet. He's been officially working for Chelsea for 3 days now. I thought they would have done an interview by now. I guess it's not a priority. Just getting to work, I suppose. With 2 major international tournaments taking place this summer, the Italian will not have a close look at some of his core players until later this month, of course. But he will be pleased to see that Caicedo is putting in the sort of performances at the Copa America that convinced Chelsea to sign him in the first place. Ecuador held Mexico to a goalless draw on Monday to finish second in their group and book their place in the quarterfinals, where they will face Argentina. Caicedo versus Enzo, of course. Latri recovered well to secure their place in the knockout stages. They were beaten 2-1 by eventual group winners Venezuela in the first round of the group games. And Valencia's early red card hindering their chances, but Caicedo helped them pull through. He provided the assist for the opener in their 3-1 win over Jamaica last week, and has been a rock in the midfield throughout. The 22-year-old has made more tackles and interceptions combined than any other player in the tournament. And only Sergio Pena, 14, has won possession in the midfield third more times than Caicedo. So Caicedo is putting in dominating central defensive performances. His performances should excite Maresca. While Caicedo isn't the same mould of holding midfielder Harry Winks, of course, at Leicester, he was his deepest lying midfielder, and the former Tottenham man is more of an instigator than destroyer. He is also tidy on the ball. When he does win possession, as shown by his 90.8% success rate in the Premier League last season, the 4th best in Chelsea squad. I mean, we had some high pass success rates then. That is high. His ball retention quality has been less of a feature at the Copa America, given Ecuador's low possession, 39%. Even so, he's been their most efficient passer at the tournament, excellently combining with the 2 key assets of a holding midfielder. Can I just say as well, when we bought Caicedo, and I was doing a little bit of research on Caicedo, some stuff I presented on the channel, some I didn't. Caicedo isn't just a CDM. I'm not saying he's as good as Kante, what Kante did interceptively, but people thought, Caicedo is that kind of player. And yes, he is that kind of player. But I'm not saying he's as good as Kante, because he's not as good as Kante as covering ground and recovering and turning over possession. No one's as good as Kante. But he's pretty good at that. But he's also an all-round footballer. He can dribble, he can break the ball at the pitch, and he can pass really well. And that's why Brighton were like, this kid is great, he's got everything, and he will get better. So they were like, that's why Liverpool offered 111 million. That's why Chelsea ended up paying 115 million. And that's why he's the most expensive player in Premier League history. He really does have a lot to his in his locker. With Fernandes expected to operate on the right of Caicedo, and the new signing, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, expected to be on the left of Maresca's favoured 4-3-3 setup. So, interesting. No Gallagher, no Lavia. Interesting. Chelsea have the makings of a top quality midfield trio. The £221 million they've spent on Caicedo and Fernandes should start looking to look like a better investment this season. If they continue to improve, Chelsea will boast a dynamic, high-intensity midfield triumvirate that rivals any in the Premier League. Well, we kind of thought that for a while with Gallagher, and there was a time where the midfield trio, maybe only for like a few weeks, but looked like the perfect balanced midfield. But I think probably that was more conducive to Pochettino ball, chaos ball, as it were. In the immediate future, Caicedo and Ecuador face a tough quarter-final against Argentina. The world champions and the Copa America favourites will enjoy a significant chunk of the ball, having averaged more than 66.5% possession, and other teams in the tournament. Interesting. Yeah, it's going to be really tough, and they've got a high-profile game there. Like I said, I want Enzo to go and have a good Copa America. That's why I didn't mind him having the surgery to miss the end of Chelsea season, so he could go and play Copa America football. I was like, yeah, I think that'll be good for him. I think that'll be good for us ultimately, Chelsea, and that's what's paramount. That's what's most important. But for him going to have a good time with Argentina, that would serve Chelsea well. And indeed, yeah, that is the case, and I do believe that. I don't want him to go to the Olympics afterwards. I know he was a bit upset he couldn't go to the Olympics, but come back for pre-season now, mate. You've had your Copa America. That's enough. But for me, it's really good to hear that Caicedo is balling out and having such a good tournament, and that will, trust me, be very, very important for Chelsea Football Club moving forwards, that we have a fully fit and firing. I mean, they both, even if Caicedo loses to Enzo's Argentina, he's had a great tournament, can come back and he's good to go in good form. And then, whoever progresses will have a good time, and that'll be good for Chelsea ultimately. And the other one can come back and join pre-season sooner. So it's all good to me. I wanted to reference that article. I thought was interesting and important to talk about Caicedo. Let me know what you think. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Keep it locked to Football Therapy because there's so much to talk about at the moment, and I don't want you guys to miss a beat. So thanks again, and I will see you soon, hopefully. Peace.